Hey folks, Nick Harrington here. Today is Sunday, April 14th, 2024, and this is this week's fishing report. Here from Lake Sharpe, we are back here in Pierre. Spent the last couple weeks down in Chamberlain doing the Cedar Shore tournament. Kind of recap that last week, and now we're back home. We're back on our favorite water body. I mean, Sharpe is probably our favorite water body to fish. There's a ton of different ways you can catch fish. There's a ton of different areas you can fish. Just super excited to be back home in Pierre. And you know, right now one of the biggest limiting factors is the water coming out of that bad river. That's really limiting where you can fish, because that water comes out and it's actually really cool to see. You've got the when you go, you see the bad river, the water's coming out, looks like straight up chocolate milk, and then that goes all the way down the bluffs, and then as the further you go down river, the more it starts to, that dirty water starts to expand. But there's actually a pretty clear divide between the dirty and the clear, just based on where the current is, and then anything above the bad obviously is really clear. That water coming from the dam, really clear water up in town. But that's really limited where folks can fish right now because of that dirty water. You always want clean water on the Missouri River. And so all those folks, they've been basically concentrated in the Stilling Basin or along the bridges in town. You know, the Marion Gardens sandbars, literally the sandbars right amongst the bridges, kind of those areas just kind of on the east side of town. All those boats concentrated. The bite has really just been hit or miss because of that. You'll see boats that do really well, and then you'll see boats that really struggle. If you do something different, you kind of get away from the pack, you do a different technique, you might be able to pop them, but then the next day or even a couple hours later, it just doesn't work. So I mean, that's kind of been the biggest challenge that we've had right now, is just having those limited areas to fish. And those areas, I mean, you see fish, you see them on the graph, folks, active target, live scope, you see them, and they just don't want to react to your bait right now. Not uncommon for what we see this type of year. Water temp is right about that 40-degree mark, so we're probably a week, 10 days away from really seeing the bulk of that spawning action take place. Generally target, you know, that April 20th timeline, April 20th to 25th. Obviously not Bible, but that's kind of you know, that's kind of what we're seeing, is that 40-degree water temps. If you get back into the basin, if you get back into like coming out of Downs Marina, you see the mid 40s, you know, maybe 44, 45-degree water temps. But overall, like I said, we're flirting right around that 40-inch mark for where folks are fishing. You know, we've been prepping for league this Tuesday. Looks like we're gonna have some major winds, some storms, so we might have to wait another week for that to kick off. That's going to bring even more change to the reservoir, and that's not going to help the bad river situation at all. But that's the hope, is hopefully that bad river clears up. Those areas downstream that can be really productive this time of year become more available, and if anything else, it'll, you know, spread the boats out, which will make it A, easier to fish, and B, it takes a lot of pressure off those fish too. So that's kind of the fishing report here from Pierre. Like I said, league's supposed to start on Tuesday. We'll see if that happens with the weather, and then again prepping for that Sharpe showdown. So really excited for that one. That's one Mason and I have really had circled on the calendar. Super pumped up. We love Sharpe. It's our, like I said, it's our favorite water body. We love Pierre. And so being able to get out, stay, you know, sleeping on beds is always a plus for tournaments too. But enjoy really our favorite water body in our backyard. We're super excited for that. Again, I'd encourage anybody interested in fishing that, whether you're from Pierre or whether you want to make a trip up. It's a ton of fun to fish. There's gonna be some really good fish. Depending on what the weather is, I think we'll still see a lot of fish caught. But right now we're just kind of riding that wave of when's spawn gonna wrap up and what our weather conditions gonna do. But overall, you know, this is spring fishing here in South Dakota and on the Missouri River, so good fishing.